I broke all the rules this week, and I'm going to show you exactly what happened when I threw almost everything I know about budgeting and money management out the window. If you're ready, let's go. Welcome back to Ready Budget Go. My name is Drew, and around here we talk about household budgeting, saving money, and achieving our financial goals. So if any of those sound like something that you vibe with, please consider subscribing, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below because I'd love to hear from you. It's the end of the week, so it's time for the weekly budget update. I almost always want to say it's a monthly update, but I do this each and every week, usually on Fridays, sometimes on Saturdays if I've got a lot going on. So I'm going to walk through all of the income and expenses and bills and everything like that I had this week, and let's see how I did. But before we get started, a couple of things to note. One is that I don't have a cash dump this week, and the reason is because I just didn't get to the bank on time. I had a lot going on, and by the time I got to the bank, it was already like Monday or Tuesday. And in fact, I think it was Tuesday. So by then, I really only had 2 days or so left in the budgeting week. And I'd already started putting things on credit cards and sort of reshuffling. So no cash this week, but that's okay. When we get to the expenses, you'll see what happened. And it wasn't the disaster that I thought it might be. Okay. The other thing that I want to mention is that I zoomed in a little bit this week, so hopefully everything is easier to read. I got a comment about that last week. So if it's still difficult, let me know and I'll see what I can do. But this is about the max I can zoom in and still have the entire book within the field of view. So let's open up to the August budget and let's see what happened. So, paychecks, I didn't get any of those yet. The first one will be on the 15th. So, those are blank. I also won't get my cell phone reimbursement until the end of the month. But I did have a carryover from July that I was not planning on, but I carried over 300. I did have a bigger overage at the end of July, but I just threw that other bit of the overage into the business account. So that's where that went. And then in terms of bills, I had several come out this week. The first week of the month is always a busy week for bills. So rent came out on the first, and that was right on at $17.92. Water, sewer, garbage, a little bit under what I had budgeted, $93 versus $100. Orca, which is my transit card, right on at $50. iCloud was right on at $3. Renter's insurance at $15, and Quantum, which is my home internet, at $80. So that was it for bills. Wallet we'll come back to after we talk about the weekly spending. Stockpiles is not planned until the 15th, although, spoiler, this stockpile is for my trip to FinCon in Portland next month. And I booked my travel and I booked my hotel, and I didn't have to spend the $700. So I'll be thinking about how I'm going to allocate the rest. I might just keep that aside for incidentals in Portland, but we'll see. We'll see what the budget demands. And then savings and extra debt. This is my Roth IRA contributions right now because that is my area of focus. $301 this week. And that brings me really close to fully funding my Roth IRA for 2025. So we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the savings section. But for now, let's go to the cash flow. So this is basically like a check register. And this is everything that goes into and comes out of my checking account every month. So this month I deposited $150. That was from the Letterbucks challenge. I posted that video last weekend, so if you haven't seen that, please go back and watch it. It was quite a good month for Letterbucks. And then the other things that came out of the checking account, water, sewer, garbage, and rent together came out. I made a withdrawal for $400. That is all my cash for the rest of the month because I have 5 budget weeks in August. And so the first one's already lapsed. I didn't use any cash for that, so I need $100 a week for the rest of the month. I had a couple of credit card payments, and then I sent the $304 to the Roth IRA. And now I'm confused whether it was 301 or 304. So I'm going to go check on that, and I will be right back. So sure enough, it was 301, so I need to correct that here. It's correct on the other sheet. So I'm just going to wipe out this 4. And replace that with a 1. So 301 into the Roth IRA this week. Okay, let's talk about expenses. So, as I mentioned, I didn't take any cash out this week, and I decided to reflect that here at $0 just so that um, I know that I didn't forget it when I come back and if I come back to look at this in the future. So, other rules that I broke this week is I went grocery shopping 3 times. I went to Safeway on the 2nd and on the 5th, and then I went to Whole Foods on the 6th. Now, this trip to Whole Foods was not planned per se. I had some things that I needed to return to Amazon, and that was the nearest drop off point to me. Normally, I don't shop at Whole Foods just because it is kind of a trek from where I live. But since I was there and I was hungry, which is another rule that I broke, don't grocery shop hungry. I totally did that. I picked up a few things, 33.68, and I actually got quite a bit. One of the things that I bought was 3 pounds of organic red grapes, and I paid $6.99 for 3 pounds. I mean that's like 1 pound at the regular grocery store. And some other things too there that I was surprised were significantly less expensive at Whole Foods than they are at just the regular grocery store. So if you don't normally shop at Whole Foods and you have one in your area, don't necessarily write it off thinking that it's the most expensive place in the world, because chances are there's some things there that may not be as costly as you think. Okay, so other expenses, I had a couple of DoorDashes and a trip to McDonald's. So all in all, I spent, let's add it up here, move this to the side, 58.69, 25.49, 803, 22.85, 33.68, and 22.89, $171.63. So I'm actually significantly below where I would normally be for a week. And even if we add in $100 of cash that I didn't spend, that would just bring me to $271.63. So still under the $300 a week that I give myself. And I'm just going to go through and color code everything real quick. And then we'll go back to the first page and add in that number here. So 171.63. So I technically have that $100 available, but I am going to spend it on a birthday present next week, or maybe even this week, that I need to buy for a friend of mine. So that money isn't going to stick around long, and that'll probably be reflected in next week's spending. Okay, so now let's talk about saving, now that we've talked so much about spending. And let's go over to the Roth IRA. So this week, on August 6th, I contributed $301. So that brings me to a total contribution this year of $6,577. So I have $423 left to contribute. Yeah, so 400 plus a little more here. So I am going to mark off some more of the sloths. Make sure everything's still in view. Yep. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So that is it for the sloths. And next week, because I have $423 left to contribute, I think what I'm going to do is I will put some more money into the Life of a Creator on Wednesday for that video, just to get that fully funded. And then we'll start working on the big move, which is the next goal. I had intended to start the paint by sticker book on Wednesday, but I think I'm going to fully fund the Roth IRA first, and then we'll move on to doing the paint by sticker the following week, along with the voiceover of some of my money insights from this life that I've led. Okay, so that's it for retirement for now. I also want to talk about the monetization tracker. So as of when I started recording this video, I'm at 558. When I get 2 more subscribers, I will fill in another circle and send another $50 to the fund, so that this will be at 560 and this will be at 2,800. So if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. I will save $5 if you do. And this is kind of a fun way of putting money toward one of my big goals, which is the big move. Speaking of which, let's go back to the front here to my goal sheet for 2025. Oh, it's always easy to lose your place in the in the disc bound planners, but I love their versatility. So, emergency fund was fully funded at 12,210. I finished that in March. The next thing I worked on was my blip fund. That was fully funded at $2,400. I finished that in April. Roth IRA Roth IRA contribute full $7,000. That will be completed this month. And then the next thing that I have to work on is the big move. That is fully funded at 15,000. I'm probably going to bump this goal up, and I want to have this done by March at the latest, maybe April. We'll see how long it takes. But I've got all the rest of this year after the Roth is fully funded to put money toward it. And then the first few months of next year, I'll be working on my Roth and on the big move at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. But making great progress on my goals for 2025. And I am so happy and grateful that you've decided to join me for it. If you come and watch these videos every week and keep track of my progress, I do it for accountability for myself, but I also enjoy sharing with others because I think we can all inspire and be inspired by the journeys of others. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. I will save $5 if you do. Leave me a comment down below so that I know you are here. And until I see you in the next one, which should be Monday night for game night, if I remember correctly, take care.